like the speed of sound. We can keep on the ground.
What's good, YouTube? It is now 1337 aka Snow, back again with another series, a new series called Top 10. Well, it's not new, like everyone's done it before, but I thought I'd bring it to my channel on a regular basis. And I've got loads of different ones set up to go at the moment. Top 10 sexy girls, top 10 films, top 10 COD maps, top 10 COD weapons. And the other top 10s are up to you guys, what you want to see I will put on this channel. So leave your ideas and comments in the comment section about what top 10s you want to see. It can be anything, good, bad, fail, funny, anything to do with games, films, TV, anything you want. And if it sounds good and people like the sounds of it, I will definitely add it to the list and do it. But into today's top 10, actually this is a top 12 because I could not narrow this down into 10 games, and we're doing top 12 games in history, and it goes like this. We start at number 12. Number 12, this was a tie between Wild Arms and Ocean Star Second Story. Both RPG games, but I only got to play Ocean Star once all the way through, and then I never got to play it again. I think it was on the brink of, I found it on the brink of when the next console was coming out, so I just moved to the next console and only played Ocean Star once. Wild Arms is what is at number 12, and I absolutely love this game. Played it so many times. Music's in it's phenomenal, the characters are badass, the story's good. You could choose between 3 different characters and run around as them, and they all have different ways of doing things. Like Jack, the main guy in it, he had a little mouse which you could throw through like a hole and hit a switch or get a chest, and then the other 2 had other similar things as well that they could use, and it was just so addictive. In at number 11 is a cross between Streets of Rage and Golden Axe. Now, both of these games were around at the same time, Mega Drive, Master System times, and they were just badass side-scrolling games. Streets of Rage was just a full-on beat-em-up. Golden Axe, you had weapons and stuff and magic, so they're equally as badass and just amazing. By the way, in the video description there'll be links to gameplays and footage from all of these games in this list, so if you don't know a game and you haven't seen it, check out the video description. At number 10, we have the only fighting game on the list, and it's not going to be something generic like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. It is the one, the only Rival Schools. Now, this was a badass fighting game. If you've never played this game, you missed out. The combos, the button layout on the controls were phenomenal, and the double team moves that you could do when you, oh man, it was just badass. It was just absolutely badass. If you played Rival Schools, you know for a fact what I'm on about, how badass the game is. At number 9, we have Pokemon. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em. Oh, sorry about that. I'm putting up Red and Blue because they were the original OG Pokemon games, the best there ever was. Now they're just getting too deep into it, too intricate, but they're still badass. All Pokemon games are just badass. It's a legendary series of games and TV and films and everything. In at number 8, something you might not know. It was out on the PlayStation. It's called Tombi, or it's called Tomba. It's got 2 different names. One's a Japanese name. And this game was just badass. It was just like a side-scrolling game, but it was also, you could go into the background like Little Big Planet, that type of thing. And there was just quests that you had to do. And there was just so much to do in the game. And you fight pigs, and like there's ice cream cone trees. It's just crazy, but it was badass. I love the game. I played it so many times. I wish I could find a decent ROM of it because I would be playing it right now. If you haven't seen it, check out the video description. It's badass. In at number 7, the OG first person shooter. Well, not the OG one, but you know, one of the OG ones, and that is Doom. The original Doom, just phenomenal. You had the innate ability to shoot up and down without even having to look up or down. But that, it was like, especially when I was younger, it was a really, really like nervy game. Like, you didn't want to turn a corner, and it put a fear into you that you just don't get nowadays in games. Even the Doom 3s and Doom 4s, it's just so crap compared to the original. So yeah, badass. In at number 6, and this could easily have been higher in the list, but there's some badass games coming up. The Borderlands series. Now, quite a modern game for a list of games in history, but Borderlands has just done something phenomenal. They've created such an epic, future legendary game. It's phenomenal. It's so hilarious. It's written so well. The characters are so likable. The gameplay is badass. It's first person shooter. There's tons and thousands of guns and stuff that you can do and get, and there's challenges and missions, and it's just all you could need in a game. It's badass. In at number 5, for a similar reason, the BioShock series. BioShock to me is probably my favourite game of all time, but it doesn't rank high enough in the list, to be honest, of games in history. Well, I'd say not my favourite game of all time. Definitely my favourite game of recent history, because there's some badass games coming up. In at number 4, GoldenEye 007. The first ever multiplayer first person shooter for consoles. And yeah, it wasn't connected to the internet, but there's nothing wrong with this game. It was badass, graphics aside, because graphics were bad back then. The gameplay was badass. It was so enjoyable. The only thing I hated about this game was Oddjob, because he was just too small and he was a cheat and people used him to cheat, especially my brother, and I hated it. In at number 3, the best multiplayer first person shooter in history, and if anyone disagrees with me, you just do not know this game, and that game is Unreal Tournament 99. Now, you might have seen the crappy version they brought out for consoles, but on the PC, this game was just the epitome of first person shooters. It was badass. From everything from making your own maps to the gameplay to the character skins you could do to the add-ons in servers where you could have any skin you want, any type of mutator you want, any type of game you want. There was mods like Instagib, which was just one hit kill, which I was very prolific at, which is what I played for a very long time. But let me tell you this, UT99 came out obviously in 1999. I played that shit for about 5 years, day in, day out, for about 12 hours a day. I was good enough to go pro. I was in the best clans in the world, and I played at all different types of game types, from normal weapons to 1v1s to Instagib, capture the flag, to a game called Bunny Tracks where you just had an obstacle course that you had to go through. The game was just had everything. It was phenomenal. Yeah, that's all I can say about it. In at number 2, probably my best favourite music in a game would be Zelda Ocarina of Time. Badass game. Everyone knows this game. The story is badass. It's obviously Zelda, but for me, it's the music that gets this so high in the list, because it's a phenomenal game anyway. Everyone loves it, but it's the music that puts it higher than most in this list. And number 1, the one, the only Final Fantasy VII. This, if you know me, you know this was coming. I played this game, I'd say about 275 times now. Fully 100% completed. As soon as I complete this game, I start it again. I'm currently running through it on the HD mode on PC. This game is just badass. This game has been my life. Final Fantasy VII. I grew up on it. When I was younger and when I first started having my attacks and stuff, and I was in the house a lot of the time playing on consoles, this was the game I played. From getting materia and leveling it up, and the whole story with Sephiroth and Cloud going crazy, and the music in the game is also badass. It's just a phenomenal game. I can't tell you how much I love this game and why it gets number 1. If you don't know, then you better get to know. Go to the video description, check out all the gameplays of the games, and leave your comments on what you want to see in a top 10 series. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like and favourite. Peace out. Take care.